Feel better with M-Drive. MDriveForMen.com. Code HERD. 20% off. More lean muscle. More energy. Good to have you in today. So there's a quote, an NBA general manager. He is anonymous. Bob Anonymous, an anonymous NBA GM, came out yesterday and said, I would have drafted Ja Morant #1 over Zion Williamson. Everybody's tough on Twitter. Everybody's tough anonymously. No, you wouldn't have. But it is not a bold statement to say Ja Morant is better than Zion Williamson. Ja Morant is a great talent. Zion's a great talent and a phenom. Zion made basketball and business sense, and you had to draft Zion Williamson. 50% of the scouts I talked to, and I've been covering this league for a long time and have a lot of contacts, 50% preferred Ja Morant over Zion. It was split. People liked him. But the NBA's not flexing in a lot of Ja Morant games, are they? No, they're not really flexing in a lot of Ja Morant games. They flexed in one, and that was the one they thought Zion was going to play in. Zion Williamson is a phenom. And the other thing is, there is a risk with Zion. People knew the risk. I talked to two general managers, two very, very good NBA GMs, guys that get to conference finals and finals. They both used the exact same word that scared them to death about Zion, and the word is torque. They both said he plays with way too much torque. I don't know if those ligaments and those knees can handle it. And they both said, but you got to draft him #1. Every one of these GMs has an owner. So a GM can say all he wants. What does the owner want? You draft Zion. There are times that it makes sense for the owner to come down. Joe Burrow is a great example. I don't think Joe Burrow is as talented as Justin Herbert. I don't think he's nearly as good as Tua. I don't think he's as good as Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. I don't think he has the skills of Josh Allen. I don't think he's that big, that strong, and that athletic. He ain't Lamar, and he's not Mahomes. But Cincinnati probably has to take him. He's an Ohio kid, 15-0. If you take Justin Herbert and he's so-so, everybody gets fired. If you take Burrow and he's so-so, the owner's happy. You take him. Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James back in, 2003. Carmelo Anthony went to college and single-handedly won a national title. Carmelo Anthony was a more refined offensive player. I can remember talking to people in the league saying, LeBron's going to be better, but Carmelo's going to be a better offensive player. Carmelo was much more refined early as an offensive player. LeBron came into the NBA and he was just a freight train. It wasn't until, to be honest with you, it wasn't until he went to Miami and he developed a little low post game. He was humiliated in that finals against Dallas that he really changed his offensive game. It was limited. He was just so talented. But you had to take LeBron. He was the chosen one. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He was from Akron. You're in Cleveland. You had to take LeBron. And most people were like, LeBron's better. But when you're Cincinnati and you got to sell tickets and, Joe Burrow, he's the hometown kid. He was a Buckeye and the story and the owner. You just take him. And Burrow, to me, and Justin Herbert are fairly close. So if it's close, take him. Just take him. It wasn't like Bryce Harper, where Bryce Harper came out. He was so much better than the next prospect. You go #1. But you get into a lot of these where you're like, it could go either way. There's very few Wayne Gretzky's or Mario Lemieux when you're like, okay, he's the #1 pick. It just doesn't matter. You usually have very big arguments on this. And a lot of people like Ja Morant. It's not bold saying it. Everybody liked Ja Morant. Everybody said he's Russell Westbrook, but a better shooter and a better passer. If I told you Westbrook could shoot and was a better teammate, you'd be like, oh, my guy's a top 5 player in the league. That's what holds him back. So, I don't think it's a bold statement saying it. Now, I do think when a GM says, I would have drafted Ja Morant, I'm like, oh, that's adorable. Who's your owner? Because he's going to make the decision on that, not a general manager. Doc Rivers, love him. Jerry West, love him. But if Steve Ballmer comes in and is like, you know how much money I can make off Zion? Then you draft in Zion. That's the way it works. When the owner comes down, Zion is just ticket sales. He is just going to put you on television. And go look at what LeBron did. Forget the titles and the basketball stuff. Look at what LeBron did to Dan Snyder's net worth. The Cavs they've been a joke for 20 years. Dan Gilbert, excuse me. They've been a joke for 20 years. They were a joke before LeBron. He got there, they were great. He left, they were a joke. He comes back, they're great. He leaves, they're a joke. I mean, so, and I don't have a problem with the owner when you get into these, I could take either guy, Zion or Ja Morant. I don't have a problem with an owner saying, listen, this guy's good at basketball and he helps business. I'm going to take that guy. And Ja Morant's one of those people. Not many of them, by the way. I couldn't tell you the last college basketball player that I literally rushed home to see. Never forget that. Duke against Virginia. Boring Virginia that wins like 42-40. Beat a Laker-Houston game. That's incredible. That is just, can you imagine how good you'd have to be in college to have Ohio State plays some boring school, right? And it beats the Dallas Cowboys game. Dallas Cowboys brand against anybody. I mean, like, oh my God. Zion is that special. He changed the college ratings. He changed the summer league ratings. And watch tonight, Zion will move the NBA ratings. Ja Morant, great player. He's not moving the numbers. Folks, it's definitely winter. And the time, think about winter, it is freezing outside. Even 40 degrees in Miami last night. But it's cozy inside if you sleep in a Casper, Casper.com. The code is COZY, C-O-Z-Y, for 10% off any purchase. With a mattress today, terms and conditions apply. One small suitcase is all I'm taking as we head to hour number 2. Can't wait. Antonio Cromartie, Steve Berline, Andrew Whitworth, Rick Bucher loaded today. It's The Herd.